Welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into a really fascinating journal entry from 2026. This isn't just any diary entry, it literally transforms a simple, everyday balcony setup into an absolute masterclass on environmental observation. We're looking at some meticulous documentation from an author named Ang who tracked fish behaviors in a completely artificial habitat. And honestly, it is truly remarkable how much insight we can extract about biology and survival from this tiny, self-contained world sitting just steps away from a living room.
So what actually happens when you build a brand new world right on your balcony? Let's kind of shrink ourselves down to the micro level for a second. We're going to explore the incredibly delicate balance and honestly the completely unexpected behaviors that emerge in a freshly built outdoor pond. I mean, it sounds like a simple weekend project, right? But when you introduce living elements into a totally blank slate, it quickly becomes this highly dynamic, living laboratory of natural instincts and environmental challenges.
Section 1. The Balcony Pond Setup.
Okay, so on July 2nd, 2026, our author Ang established a brand new scene, specifically noting the introduction of new aquatic plants and fish to this freshly set up outdoor pond. Just imagine looking down into a pristine, undisturbed aquatic environment. Basically, everything is entirely foreign to the creatures placed inside it. Because there's no pre-existing ecosystem, every single choice these fish make is a pure, immediate biological response to their new surroundings. It completely strips away all the background noise and gives us this incredibly unclouded window directly into their core habits.
Section 2. A Tale of Two Fish.
Now check this out. We have two very distinct types of fish placed in the exact same water, yet their instincts drive them to entirely different behaviors. The gourami immediately seeks shelter. It's constantly hiding under the dense roots of the aquatic plants. But in stark contrast, the cichlid completely ignores the new floating additions, boldly preferring to just roam the open bottom of the pond. It's a brilliant, real-time demonstration of how different species prioritize their environment, even when they're sharing the exact same confined space. It's like they're living in two different worlds.
The specific shelter the gourami is so fiercely drawn to is the water hyacinth, scientifically known as eichhornia-crassipes. Now, this floating aquatic plant is famous for its super dense, intricate root system. For the gourami, this plant basically acts as a vibrant, floating garden. Those thick, tangled roots hanging down into the water create a perfect, totally impenetrable sanctuary. They weave this protective canopy that shields the fish from the open spaces of the pond, spaces where, their evolutionary instincts are screaming at them that they might be vulnerable and exposed.
Section 3. Memories of the Wild. So, observing this striking contrast in fish behavior triggers a really distinct and vivid childhood memory for the author. Ang notes that watching the gourami hide actually brought back thoughts of, quote, youthful days when we went catching fish in the wild by scooping them up from under aquatic plants. And this nostalgic realization is pretty profound. It reminds us that the behaviors we're seeing in these artificial, man-made setups are deeply ingrained survival instincts. The gourami isn't just randomly reacting to a plant in a plastic tub. It is literally executing an ancient survival script written right into its biology. Out in the wild, life and safety are found precisely under these types of dense, floating canopies.
Section 4. The Secret of the Roots.
The really crucial point here is that this sheltering behavior isn't some universal thing across all aquatic life. Actually, out of the species noted in the author's keeping habits, only the gourami and the betta specifically exhibit this powerful tendency to claim the root system as a hiding spot. The cichlid, as we just observed, had absolutely zero interest in it. For anyone keeping track at home, this highlights something fascinating. It reveals just how highly specialized these species are when selecting their preferred microhabitats. They are uniquely adapted to thrive in these exact vegetative structures.
Floating aquatic plants, therefore, are way more than just, visual decoration to balance out a pond's aesthetic. They are absolute biological necessities. First off, the roots provide a secure hiding spot, which lowers stress levels and lets the fish feel safe. But it goes way beyond just hiding. These specific plants are absolutely critical to induce breeding. They provide the perfect structural foundation for species like the gourami and the betta to safely build their bubble nests. Without that exact plant architecture present, the entire biological and reproductive cycle of these fish could be severely disrupted, or maybe even halted altogether.
Section 5. The Microclimate Challenge.
This entire scenario brilliantly illustrates the incredibly delicate nature of ecosystems, no matter how small they might be. A clear chain of events unfolded on this balcony.
Initially, the setup suffered from a lack of full, direct sunlight, and because it couldn't acclimate well to this specific shaded microclimate, the water hyacinth began wilting. This rapid environmental hurdle then forced the author to completely rethink the setup and plan some immediate adjustments. It just goes to show, even when you perfectly match the right fish with the exact right plant, if a single environmental variable, like say the precise amount of sunlight, falls out of alignment, the whole system feels the shockwave. The plant wilts, the roots recede, and the gourami's crucial sanctuary is abruptly threatened.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If a slight shift in sunlight can disrupt a carefully planned balcony pond, causing plants to wilt and threatening the hiding spots of the fish beneath, what unseen variables are shaping the vast ecosystems all around you? As you go about your day, I want you to consider how every microscopic environmental factor plays a monumental role in the survival of the natural world hiding right in front of us. Thank you for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it changes the way you look at the tiny, complex worlds thriving in your very own backyard.